Libra, greetings and salutations, my friends. Today we're going to go ahead and do your 5-card movie star spread. Ah, well, the Empress and the Inverse just kind of flipped around there. So the Empress, I'm going to use this as a filter for the rest of the read. So let me explain what the Empress and the Inverse means. The Empress is linked to expansion. Okay, so Libra, you're in a process right now where you're feeling a bit constricted, right? It's like, you know, you have another 3 in the inverse here. Yeah. All right. Constricted, right? You're stagnant, but not by your own accord. It's like you can't move. Well, maybe it is by your own accord. You know, they say that there's, fight or flight syndrome, but there's also fight, flight, or freeze. And maybe that's where you are right now. You're just like hiding in plain sight by not making any waves. It's a very constricted energy. I know it looks in the upright to you, but I'm the reader, so it's in the inverse to me. Just in case you were wondering. Okay. So it kind of feels like you have the desire to bid for attention. However, the past has taught you that that is not a good thing. So what I get from these 2 cards by using the filter of the Empress here is you've kind of been, I hate to say it, but you've been beat into submission. Wow, it sounds horrible, doesn't it? It sounds really, really bad. Not a lot of people are going to want to accept that energy. But somebody wants you out of their way and you are complying. We'll put it that way. Somebody doesn't want you specifically to speak your mind, state your mind. They just want complacency out of you. Maybe that's what it is. So maybe you haven't been beaten into submission. Maybe you've been shamed into complacency. Am I saying that right? Yeah. And again, now I see where this constricting behavior comes from. It's like in order to get out of this energy, you would have to wage a battle that is just so fierce, And in the process of it, not only would you bring to light some really behavior of people who work against you, of your adversaries, but you would also bring to light a lot of bad behavior of you and your closest friends too. Like, nobody's hands are clean in this situation, okay? But the longer you stay quiet, the worse it gets. So here you are feeling like, see again, that complacency, that stagnancy. It's like you used to have control over a certain amount of resources, and now all of those resources are still there, but they just aren't under your control. It's like you can't even manage the environment that you're in. It's like you've been given this like little narrow lane and you've been told to stay in your lane, and you're like, I'm gonna stay in my lane because it's just too much time and energy and effort to veer outside of my lane and do what you ultimately feel should be done. It's not comfortable, but it doesn't hurt enough yet for you to really get up and do something about it. Like you see everybody else around you suffering, and you're like, well, if I speak up, then I suffer too, so I'd rather just sit here But you don't like seeing everybody else suffering. Ultimately, you don't see a balance in this union or contract anymore, right? Now, I don't know if this is a personal relationship. I don't know if this is like a friend, a family member, or maybe even a romantic partner. Or it could be a vocational thing. It could be a group dynamic. It could be any one of those things. But it's not a comfortable environment to be in anymore. And you know it's not working, but you just can't see a way out right now. Libra, I really think, yeah. You see, there's this sense of submission that makes you feel like you're powerless to make change. And there's this unhappiness, this draining energy. Like you don't have the energy to stand up and fight. You don't have the energy to play that either, that game, whatever it is. If it's a personal relationship and it's a game, well, that sucks. That's a toxic situation. If it's like a vocational or group dynamic thing and you have to play that political game, it's just exhausting, you know? The amount of effort it would take to do this just makes you feel, ugh. Oh, I'm sorry, Libra. This is tough. You know what you have to do. But even taking that new path just seems hard. Libra, this is what I get. This is what I get. Ultimately, you're stuck in a situation where there's a possibility of a way out. You know what you have to do, but you aren't motivated to do it. Libra, I'm reading the cards here for somebody who is in a state of functional depression. Okay? And you may not recognize it because it may not be all the time. Like if you really, really hate your job, it might just only be bad at your job. And then you go home and your personal life is great. Or maybe your personal life isn't doing that well. And you go to work and work is great. Or maybe this is I, I can't help but to say that the resources that I feel here, like you used to be in control of your resources and now you're not. I feel like a certain amount of power was taken away from you and that took a toll on your mental health. Or you gave up a certain amount of power just willingly and that took a toll on your mental health. Because this here tells me that you dream about making great changes, but you don't. This tells me that you know what to do, but you just don't take that path. Like it's there and it's available, but you're too tired. You're too mentally and emotionally exhausted. All of you and who you are and what you stand for is slowly being drained. You have to muster up just a little bit. You have to preserve yourself, or you will lose yourself to this energy, and you will be subject to somebody else's decision making and somebody else's fate. Libra, I hope you find your way out of this. I hope you muster up the strength to take just one step in a better direction. And then the next day, another step. And then the next day, another step. Because you can do it. I hope you found a message that serves your highest good. And I hope this serves as a warning of what could happen if you just choose to stay in the void. Good luck, and I'll see you next week.